Get up there! Hi guys, this is a McLaren 620R. The door is open and I've got the key. Yes, I'm going to be taking this for a drive. Stay tuned and watch my review of this car. It's mostly going to be all about the drive, that's for sure. Before we get into it, make sure that you're subscribing to youtube.com/browncarguy. Make sure you follow me on browncarguy.com, and of course on all the social media channels. Just search for me, my hashtag actually, hashtag browncarguy on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. And if you enjoy my content, then you can also sponsor it over at patreon.com/browncarguy. More about that at the end of the video. Cool. I can't wait to get into this. Let's do it. This isn't the easy bit. Not with the long legs. Okay, there's the key. And time to... Oh, there's the engine start buttons right there. Here we go. Pop, pop, pop. And the wipers have come on. What is a McLaren 620R? You know, there's a question I've been asking myself as well. Now, if you know McLaren's current lineup or their current range, model range infrastructure, which they're about to change with the launch of the new Artura, which I've also been looking at, you'll know that they have a Sports Series, a Super Series, and then the Ultimate Series. So this is basically the ultimate evolution of the Sports Series, which starts with the 570. In the 570 range, they have a model based on that, which is the race car. It's a GT4 race car. Now, this basically is inspired by that car. It's based on the setup of that car. So what we have here really is a track supercar for the road, or a track sports car for the road. This is what this car is meant to be. Hence, whilst you see me wearing a 3-pointed harness, which is what you wear for the road, in fact, it's got a full race harness as well on this car, which you can use when you go to the track. In addition, you can change it to slick tires when you go to the track. So one of the things they found was the difficulty of having 20-inch rims and slick tires, so they got Pirelli to make them some custom tires just for the job. So that in itself tells you the sort of customer that buys this car, a real trackhead, but somebody that's quite dedicated and with a fair bit of money, because this, as you can see around this car, there's nowhere to put 4 extra wheels and tires. So clearly he has people that have gone ahead to take the tires and the wheels and then to put them on the car for them when they arrive at the track. It has, this one has, you can get the optional active suspension with the nose lift. This one doesn't have it. So it's got the, pretty much the race kind of suspension, which you can adjust. It's fully adjustable. You can also, it's got all the modes on here as well. So I'm still on automatic at the moment and normal. I'm just getting used to the car. But it has a big wing on the back that can provide up to 180 kilograms of downforce at up to 150 miles per hour. So that's pretty cool. 8-cylinder, of course, 2.8 cylinder, twin turbo, 620 PS, so about 610 horsepower, so to speak. About the same for pounds per foot. 200 miles an hour car, and 0 to 60 in about 2.9 seconds. It can get you up to, okay, let's go into sports. It can get you up to 200 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds. That's pretty quick. So
after 1,000 feet, keep left. Then keep left.
Wow. Okay, so now I can start using the paddles a little bit. I can actually press the button here to go into manual mode.
Keep left.
Or I can just use the paddles. I'm still in the city really, so I'm kind of stuck with leaving it in automatic. I think is probably the best thing. So I hope you can hear me, because one of the things about this car is obviously, it is
reached a waypoint.
Thank you very much. It is, like I said, a track car basically set up for the road, which means that it's quite noisy and it's quite bumpy as well. So this is not your grand touring type of car or supercar. This is your supercar that's really, it means business. And you know, now that we're on the road where, you know, the two black stripes have come up, we can see a little bit about what I mean, the amount of feedback I'm getting, you know, through the chassis, just through the tub. Of course, this retains the single tub that McLarens are known for. You know, there's a lot of imperfection on this tarmac, and I'm feeling every little bit of it. There's also quite a lot of pedestrians on this tarmac as well, so just being a little bit careful. Also, the nose is quite low, so I have to be careful about that as well. But just the noise, I mean, this is one of those things where, you know, you know, you do
1,000 feet, turn right.
You do feel like you're in something a bit special, something a bit racy, something a bit supercar, something a bit naughty, something a bit crazy. That's what this is about, because the sound and
take the next right.
Everything that's going on, the noise, the vibrations, all of this craziness that's going on. Take the next right. I can't see a thing. Okay, that's clear, and that's clear, so I can go. Obviously, there's no concerns about accelerating out of junctions, that's for sure. So one of the things that you find with this car, apart from the fact that I'm shouting to be heard, one of the things that you find with the car is the visibility out the back is not ideal, you know, so I'm having to be very, very careful and look very, very tentatively behind me before changing lanes and stuff like that, because all I can see is the intakes on the sides, on the shoulders, and then that big wing, which kind of just bisects my view, so I have to sort of duck down just to see the traffic behind me. If the wing mirrors, I think the wing at the back is 30 centimeters high. It's the same height and pretty much the same wing as the GT4, except that they put a brake lights in there, so they've kind of made it road legal. But I have to just sort of duck my head down a little bit to see through it, perhaps because I'm on the tall side. Cruising along at a little bit of speed now. A lot of wind noise. I mean, it's got a stereo and stuff. I can see the Bowers and Wilkins speakers here, but honestly, I think that you might struggle to hear your music or your favorite tunes with this amount of road roar and wind noise on the car. But that's what this car is about. Don't forget, this car is designed to be a track car, not so much a cruiser or a GT car or a road car even. It's something that really that you're supposed to be able to drive to the track and then drive it home again. It is a car that actually the ride kind of deteriorates a little bit. You know, I mean, this tarmac doesn't look so bad visually when I'm looking at it, but boy, I'm being moved around and I'm feeling every little thing. So don't plan on doing any long trips apart from if you're going to a racetrack, because it's going to be quite wearing after a while to have to put up with this. But this is interesting because, you know, the regular McLarens with the other suspension that they have, it's known and it's renowned for its
after 1,000 feet, continue straight ahead.
It's superior comfort when it comes to supercars, sports cars, stuff like that. So I seem to be doing a lot of city driving on this route. I'm driving it in full manual now, and it's actually quite easy because one of the things that McLaren have, and this goes right back to when they first introduced the 12C, is they've got the paddles on a toggle. So this whole thing moves. The adjustment for the steering moves, the paddles move with the steering, so the paddles are actually attached to the steering wheel, which is fine, but they're also like, they toggle. So whereas you got the right paddle for up, there you go, and the left paddle for down, but actually you can switch down from the right paddle as well, because if you just push it, it toggles and it switches around the other way. The quality in here, from what I remember, because the last McLaren I drove was the 12C, and you know, the quality is greatly improved, even though, you know, it's pretty...
Take the next left.
This one is like a race car, so there's certain compromises in it. But having said that, from the Alcantara trim that's pretty much everywhere, you know, it's got a raised center console here, because
you'll arrive at waypoint.
The idea is that when you're strapped in, you know, you're strapped in tight when you're using the harness. So it would be difficult to reach some of these things. So they've actually raised it up a little bit so it's easier for you to get to. That's thoughtful, isn't it? But so you have you don't have a park. It's a D, neutral, reverse. Then you've got a handbrake that's on the right side. You've got a full digital instrument display in front of you, and you've got the two knobs down here. The one that I haven't touched, which is traction systems, and the other one that I have played with, which is the sports settings, if you like, the driving modes, you know, and you've got to press the active to make that work. You've got launch control down there, then you've got the screen, which is basically an evolution of McLaren's original own operating system that they created for the car, because they were very particular about it when they launched Control-C, and they had this upright sort of system, which actually, to be honest, was kind of, they were ahead of the times, weren't they? Because I think a lot of people are going for the big tablets that sit, you know, in the portrait mode rather than in the landscape mode. So that kind of makes sense now, doesn't it? There's not a lot of else in this car, really. Like I said, it's designed for one purpose. There isn't a lot of storage or anything like that.
Right.
You know,
then
it's
arrive at waypoint.
It's only what you need, really, is what you get. Only what you need. Also, like, just driving it around town, it's quite easy to judge. I mean, a lot of supercars, it's quite difficult to place them, but this one, I mean, I haven't really had an issue judging its extremities. You know, it's very low. The bonnet is right there, so you're not, it's not that far in front of you, but it's easy to judge the left-hand side. I haven't had an issue with placing the car on the road or anything like that. So in that sense, it's practical, or certainly this body shape is practical, you know, if you want to drive it around town. This car really does want to pick up every little ridge, every little bump on the road and let you know about it, even the ones you can't see. So that's the price you pay. I think that if you were going to do a lot of road miles, you'd probably go for the other suspension rather than this one. If you're going to use this mostly for the track, then I suspect you'd want this one with its adjustability. But actually, I think that, you know, if you are going to use it for the road, then the other one is probably the better one to go for. The changes are very, very snappy, quick, no problem at all. The steering is really good, nicely weighted, nice size. You know, I mean, not as much.
Turn left after half a mile.
Not as much transmission as the chassis is giving you, but still giving you a lot of feedback. You know, about what the road is doing, what the road surface is doing, and all the rest of it. So just talking about the seat comfort, this is a one-piece seat. It's pretty hard, it's pretty firm. It is a racing bucket seat pretty much, you know. So it's designed to really hold you in your place. And, you know, if you're wide of hips, then, you know, you might find this one not entirely comfortable or conducive to comfort. Having said that, it's pretty supportive, you know, and it's not too bad. The seat has not been a major concern of mine. You've got these things here, which are basically holding in your shoulders as well, and that, if you want to move your arm that way, that can be, you know, a little bit of an issue, and it can kind of dig into your shoulder a little bit. But also, I guess, you know, it just holds you in place. I mean, that's what it's designed to do, and that's what it does, and it does it very effectively. That much is true.
Take the second exit.
So again, not really able to fully really open up the performance in these environments, but it's a car that clearly wants to go. But like I said before, it's not go in a brutal manner, but go in a very linear, considered manner. You know, it's a car that will accelerate very quickly when you need it to, but won't terrorize you with the force of its momentum, like maybe some supercars would do. Pulling up at a traffic light, I've noticed that the gearbox, even though it's in manual mode, it will change down by itself. The brakes, you know, you need quite a bit of pressure on the brakes, not to make it stop, but it's just to get it to do what it's doing, because they are, I feel like they're race-bred brakes. And but one of the things is that you pull up behind a car,
take the next left
at a traffic light, and one of the nice things is that you see your reflection and you go, wow.
After 400 feet, you have reached a waypoint.
Bit of a burst of acceleration there, and then you get an idea of what it does, and you get this kind of sucking. This has got the optional carbon fiber roof-mounted air scoop here, I think, and you get that that kind of suction sound in the cabin. So let's just clear a little bit of space so we can try that again. Now I'm getting, wow, it's like a monster, like sucking up air. That's, now we're talking a little bit. So you really need to be going some in this car to really get the benefits and to get the real feel of what this car is about and what it's meant to do. You can hear a lot of things moving around in this car, including the seat belts actually. Now it's kind of like it's breathing all around you. It's like gulping for air, and it's incredible. But oh my God, it is firm. It is hard. You know, it is unrelenting in the movement that is being transmitted to you. But now the performance has started to come alive a little bit now that we're able to open it up. But very stiff, very tight, just very, very flat corners, completely flat. Totally
After 1,000
planted.
feet, turn right. Then arrive at waypoint. Take the next right. Then arrive at waypoint.
The slightest dip in the road at any kind of
Calculating route.
any kind of speed, really. You know, when you think that in a normal car you wouldn't even notice it, and yet in this car, you all of a sudden you're like, oh my goodness. As you see it, you wince because you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna feel that one. I'm gonna feel that.
You have reached a waypoint.
My goodness. Alright, just over to open up a little bit again. Oh, I'm behind another slow truck. Beautiful weather, gorgeous day, great conditions, but not the right location for this sort of car. And I think that's the problem with this car. It is extremely hardcore. This car is, I would say, a little bit too hardcore for the road. I don't think that I would have this car. You know, ultimately that's a question that you always ask yourself. And I think this is just because I'm not a track head, let's be honest. So I'm not somebody that would regularly do track days. I want a car that I can enjoy, you know, driving it around town, but also going out for the occasional nice drive on some country roads and stuff like that. But I think that for those purposes, this car feels a bit much, really. Oh, when you get up to like well over 3,500 RPM, then you really start to feel it. That's when you really start to feel that punch in the back. You know, that brutal performance that you're craving. That's when you start to get it. The steering is moving and riding in your hand because it is picking up, you know, the road surface as well. And as you can see, you know, I'm struggling even to talk now because, you know, I've been moved around so much. But oh my God, it is a vicious little thing once it's opened up. I think it's fair to say that it's not happy, you know, being on a leash.
Prepare to keep right after half a mile.
You know, this is a car that really wants to go. That's really what it wants to do. At the same time, it's like, boy, is it like planted? Is it solid? It's like, you know, you just
After
know.
300 feet, keep right.
You just know that you can trust the steering, the brakes.
Take the first exit.
You ran out. I forgot what gear I was. 7-speed gearbox. So
you have reached a waypoint.
acceleration is just brutal. When it gets into the higher revs, it's just extraordinary. That's when you start to feel it, and you start to go, oh my God, this is a supercar. That's what that's about. You know, finally getting to experience what this is about. But you know what, you've got to go and find the right place to really enjoy this car, because otherwise turning in through the corner, no problem at all. On the throttle, it just turn it, point, go where you want to go, whatever speed you want to do.
Turn right of the roundabout, taking the third exit.
Wow, I mean, that nice short burst of acceleration really sort of brought the personality of the car alive, and I think that that's when you really start to experience what this car is about. Really, you know, this is very much a car built for purpose, built for what it's about. You know, that's what it's making no excuses. It's making no compromises. It is what it is, and it's like, it's just saying, you know, this is it. Take me for what I am. You know, love me for what I am. Otherwise, you know, move on. You know, it's fairly blunt. It is fairly blunt, let's be honest. So ultimately, what an experience, what a drive, what a car. is it a car I would recommend? Like I said, I think that, you know, if you're somebody that regularly does track days, you're privileged and you have the resources and you can send ahead an extra set of wheels and you know how to set the car up, then yeah, go ahead, absolutely. Otherwise, you might want to look at its more sort of road-orientated cousins. I think that would be the better option. Certainly for me, that would be where I would be heading rather than this thing. But an incredible experience, a sensational machine, extraordinary to look at, extraordinary to behold, and extraordinary to sit behind the wheel of. There you go. There's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the car, review, comments, anything else you want to do above, below, elsewhere. See you in the next video. Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. And you know what? Leave a comment and share it if you can. And of course, you're subscribing, right? To youtube.com/browncarguy. Of course, also to browncarguy.com. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even on TikTok. Just search for my hashtag. It is hashtag browncarguy. And you know what? If you enjoy my content, you can sponsor it as well. And you can do that at patreon.com/browncarguy. And your name will appear like these gentlemen coming up here on my content at the end of the video, in my written text, and on some of my Instagram posts. And that's a reach of what, 350,000 views in total on my YouTube channel, 2,000 plus subscribers, nearly 8,000 followers on Instagram. So you know what, if you have something to promote, you're most welcome to do that, and you can do that from as little as £2 or $2 a month, the price of buying me a coffee. You do that, right? And you can join this incredible lineup coming up on the screen, which of course includes Muhammad Umaid over in UAE, Partha Srinivasan in India, Tom Conway Gordon here in the UK, Isaac Boshard over in America, Reza Adil here in the UK, also Mohammed Qasim here, Siraj Abbasi here, Mark Waddell in Canada, Zaka Kogiani over in America, and a dear childhood school buddy of mine, Shaheer Hakki, also over in America. See your name coming up here. Just head over to patreon.com/browncarguy, and I'll see you all in the next video.